So as I said, this will be recorded, put on our public YouTube channel and in the portal for people to watch back afterwards if they wish to. So I'm going to hand over to Paolo Sartori and Richard Baker from TWC IT Solutions, who have been long-term partners of ours. I've been a previous client of TWC's as well, so it's really nice to have them kind of full circle moment back within the platform. So I'll hand over to you and enjoy. Ask any questions as you wish in the chat, and we'll come back for Q&A at the end as well. Thank you.
So good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining. It's good to see a couple of familiar names in the so hello to you all. Thank you, Hannah, Claire, and the OMG for organising the event and having us on. Quick intro, I'm Paolo Sartori, CEO of TWC IT Solutions. I'm joined by my able assistant, Richard Baker.
Sounds like a game show, doesn't it? Hi.
Between us, we're going to run through some telephony, Microsoft, IT subject matter, hopefully to help the office management community and others and operations managers to get the best out of their IT and communications infrastructure. I'll tell you a little bit about TWC just to give you a snapshot of who we are, and then we'll get right into it. So we've been running about 15 years now. We are a managed service provider, MSP for short. It means what we do is we essentially manage companies' IT infrastructure across IT support, like 24/7, internet services, firewall switches, cybersecurity, AV, email filtering, at the basic end, as well as SASE and more complex firewalls. So SASE is something which we will touch on later. Also, telephony mobile integrations, which I'm going to touch on briefly as well today. So we do this for companies across the UK and globally. So the topics we're going to get through today are, it's a short slideshow for MS Teams with audio-visual integration and telephony with CRM integration. They're both going to be quite brief because I'm conscious of the fact that these can be sort of, very, very laborious and painful to get through if they're taking a long time. So we'll whiz through those. Then we plan to touch upon Microsoft CoPilot, SASE, and if we have the time, we'll delve into some key IT support considerations and questions. Hope that's okay. So I'm going to get into it and share my screen, and we'll take them there. So bear with me a sec. So you can see my screen, I take it?
Yes, but the PowerPoint view, so you just want to probably put it in presenter mode, Paolo, or maybe the other screen. That's it.
Is that the one? So is that in presenter? Perfect.
No, it was. It's gone back.
I minimize the other screen. That's what. Okay. Perfect.
Even IT people struggle with the IT of PowerPoint and Zoom.
So the first one we're going to run through is the benefits of MS Teams and audio-visual integration. We'll keep it, like I say, quite short. In short, this is all about having a collaboration space within your business with good integration around Teams and audio-visual. So as an intro, Teams, as we all know, is a collaboration platform for chat, meetings, and file sharing. Is used for communication, project management, of course, and team collaboration. And the features are chat messaging, video and audio calls, file sharing, and collab. And really, what the integration around this product is having a Teams meeting room where you walk into a room, you push a button, and it can pop up on a big screen. The benefits to the business are quite substantial, and it merges high quality video with MS Teams. It offers real-time communications and collaboration. It's important because it enables your teams to get together in one place to really understand what's going on within the business and also externally. So if people are running training or seminars such as these, you could all be in the same room and be watching that. This slideshow will be quite short because there's only so much you can say about a Teams room. You could have a Zoom room, you could also have Crestron set up, but Teams is really the way that people are structuring their business. It allows us audio clarity, misunderstandings are reduced, it increases engagement, it enhances easy to share screens, documents and ideas in real time. You can also create whiteboards and virtual meeting rooms within that space. Real world applications, something we've already sort of touched on. Teams with AV integration seamlessly works anywhere. It supports both in-office and remote employees equally. It educates and trains people. Sorry, I didn't mean to whisper through that. Client meetings and presentations. It's high quality interaction with clear video and audio, or visuals and audio, and it can be shared effortlessly, leading to discussions beyond that. So once the session's finished, people can sit in a room, share a whiteboard, and sort of bounce ideas off each other. It just again, it's quite repetitive, this slideshow, I'm sorry to say, but we'll get into the integration after this. So the conclusion is really Teams and AV equals very good collaboration. It leads to clear communication, more productive meetings, and better teamwork. Adopting AV integrations is better digital workspace. So, as I said, with this first presentation, it is very brief because we are simply talking about integrating a Teams room with microphones, with a big screen into your Teams environment. And I'm sure a lot of you already do that. So I didn't want to sort of talk too long about this. The more interesting slideshow is about the CRM integration. I'm not sure if many of you do that already. So let me do a new share on that one. There we go. This is probably one that would be a bit more in depth for you guys. So it's very popular. So telephony integration with CRM. To put not too much of a finer point on it. Sorry, it's the use of a phone system and technology to facilitate communication. So you'll have a cloud PBX, and it will link to your CRM. Your CRM is where you manage all your customer data, and it allows you to obviously click to dial and do other things. So we'll go into that. But a lot of businesses that use this tend to be businesses that are in sales or in support environments. And that allows you guys to very quickly put together a summary of what's happened on a call, etc. So it's generally for IFAs, recruitment companies, property management, lead generation companies, and it allows you to use the phone system and technology to facilitate communication. I don't know if many of you do this already, but let me just. It works in that you can log automatically calls. It will pop up the customer record when someone rings in. So it's basically integrating your phone system with your back end. It saves significant time, of course, because you're able to not have to, go to the record or find things manually. It automatically will, create a call log, record for future reference, add the recording to the record, and allow you to even have an AI summary if you needed to at the end. It improves customer experience because someone can call in and they will automatically be answered with their name or their company name, as it is linked between the phone system and the CRM system. You can address issues more readily because there's intelligent integration. And what I mean by that, what we mean by that, is you would be able to route the call to the actual person who has been dealing with that before. So it will pop up on the screen and say, well, actually, intelligent integration can mean that someone who's been dealing with this customer before can deal with them again on this occasion, creating familiarity, making things easier to resolve and more quick to resolve. That means faster response times, of course, and happier customers. Like I said, this is really quite big in our recruitment industry and in sales and service-led organizations. So again, it's boosted productivity, no need for agents to log calls or search for customer info. It's the automation of repetitive tasks. So if it's a call center, customers can be called more readily. So they can, calls will be automatically made out from the system by a click. And that way it saves the trouble of searching for manual records. And you're spending more time solving customer issues, not managing data. But also it can be a sales tool. So it's not just about solving customer issues, but obviously managing, if you're in recruitment, your applicants, your candidates, as well as your clients. So, of course, inbound and outbound calls are synchronized with CRM records, meaning that the record pops. Voicemail notes and customer interactions are captured. You can also record the call and point it to the record. And team members can run reports to understand who's answered what's happened where, and therefore things aren't repeated or duplicated. So, of course, you have data-driven insights such as the reporting we discussed. It allows you to check response time, manage KPIs. So lots of businesses like this because they're able to actually measure very quickly how well their customer service and sales teams are doing. Also just their inbound reception team. So it isn't just about that, but they're able to run reports, see how long it took to answer a call. Did we lose any calls? Did anybody abandon any calls? And then from there, you can sort of analyze customer trends and behavior and understand what KPIs you should be setting. They both, these things do combine to help make more informed business decisions across the business. So management can see what the team are doing, but the team can also see what management are seeing, and actually everyone can improve together by looking at these reports and understanding where the customer abandonment rate might have been, or why customers are abandoning calls, or what the best agents are saying to the customers. So you'll be able to also analyze calls to understand which customers had the best resolutions, and on that basis you could understand which agents are saying the right things and replicate that across the business. Of course, it will boost sales and lead management. We're able to follow up on leads more readily, basically because it would actually pipeline and manage it for you. Sales agents have easy access to call logs. And like I said, CRM does track the interactions all the time. So it is something that just automates your processes so much more readily. Of course, we discussed reporting. It will monitor individual performances, as well as gives you detailed reports around calls, outcomes and progress. Again, recruitment businesses tend to like this a lot because they keep track of the wrap-up time of a call is much quicker, because now they can not only put the recorded call against it, they can also have an AI summary. So the latest systems also offer a call wrap-up. So you're able to then apply that to the record for a quick snapshot for anyone who's coming to that record next time to see what exactly has happened in previous conversations in a snapshot. It's all could be in real time and make adjustments quickly as well. So, you can very quickly move from one record to another to make a new call once the wrap-up is done. So that's always a benefit in terms of time. Some of the things we touched upon, it does reduce administration, does mean your return on investment is measurable because it lowers operational costs, because you're able to have so many more interactions in a day, but also reduce the manual element and manual potential error when agents or people are making lots of calls. So integrating a CRM with a telephony system means you are able to manage that human element and have some benefit to that interaction being automated. So again, better customer experience, of course, integrated operations, and you're staying ahead in the changing market. The market does change very quickly. So CRM systems and cloud telephony systems, particularly MS Teams as part of that, are evolving rapidly. So choosing the right CRM and right telephony platform are critical in this process, because of course you want to choose platforms that will move with the times and won't leave you having to look around every 2 to 3 years for an alternative. So it is important that the technology is sound and is properly researched as a first point. So as I said, I did try and keep this brief. It is a subject that is fairly self-explanatory in many ways, but it is something we can help with if you wanted to talk further about. If you're using Salesforce, Bullhorn, Dynamics, there's over 100 CRMs that integrate with the cloud PBXs out there. So it really is HubSpot, Zoho, they all integrate, and you can take advantage of that streamlining for your business. At this point, we can have questions at the end if there are any, and we can run it over to Richard to discuss SASE, Microsoft CoPilot, and maybe some IT ideas if we get there. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Paolo. Not easy running through a slideshow.
No.
No, it really isn't. Mine's probably going to be a lot easier. So looking at office management group and office managers, what my what my part of this presentation is going to centre around is what can IT do for you in your role and in your position. So understanding the importance of being an office manager or someone who manages operations and probably another 50,000 hats that you wear. Centering around IT, what can you offer the business? What improvements are you looking to make to the business? And those improvements take all different routes. So improvements in productivity, improvements in cost, improvements in services, systems, business efficiency, and ultimately offering solutions. So as office managers, we're always looking for ways that we can assist the business to become far more efficient. So what I've tried to do is put together some guides that I can discuss that will hopefully lead you towards those goals. Just touching upon starting with Microsoft Teams. So Paolo obviously discussed Microsoft Teams in an audio-visual environment. But I guess that you guys use it in its what it was basically made for, to send messages, to send chats, to make video calls, especially what's now practically, well, bang on 5 years ago during the pandemic, when Teams and Zoom and all the other online services became the must-have for businesses globally. But what else can you do with Teams to help you become, or to hit our earlier goals, to become more efficient? And there's things that you may or may not have seen within Teams. So you can integrate Slack with Teams. You can jump on the marketplace and look through a multitude of applications that can integrate with Teams, such as HR systems, project management systems, Monday.com, or Bright HR, or, I mean, the list is endless. So I would push you towards having a look at marketplace. I would also push you to have a look at how you share documents, as Paolo mentioned, and what that looks like within a Teams environment, how the Teams chats work, private chats, public chats, and how Teams integrates with the rest of the Microsoft ecosystem. Because the security behind the Microsoft ecosystem is why people tend to stick with Microsoft and not use other applications, because you know it's end-to-end encrypted. Second on to that, CoPilot AI, wow, my Lord. So I guess like most of you, you're still trying to get to grips with what is AI, and most importantly, how can AI help and improve my business? Again, back to those basic goals within office management, which is what can I do for my business? And I can tell you, working within IT, it doesn't change. We're still as much in the dark about what's around the corner. So anyone who professes to say, yes, we have something that's future-proof, there's no such thing. What people can provide is scalability. So something that's scalable is open to changes within the future, but there's no such thing, certainly now, after the advent of ChatGPT, nothing is future-proof. However, what's the difference between CoPilot and ChatGPT? Let's start there, because people think, oh, I don't know if to go that way. I don't know if to go that way. Okay, so they are both algorithmic learning systems. They work, and without getting into the nuts and bolts of how they work, they both take on board what you ask and use a multitude of different services to give you the best answer that they feel you want. And that will be through searching the web, through something called large language databases. But ultimately, they don't hold information. Now, if you work within an FCA regulated environment or GDPR regulated environment, ChatGPT in its basic level is not for you, because all the information you put in ChatGPT, it sends out across the world, brings you back the information. Excuse my arms flapping around. So if you go onto the Pro version, that's a little bit more protective and gives you a little bit more security. However, that's the main difference between ChatGPT and CoPilot. CoPilot works within your Microsoft tenancy, and the information that you place in there through your tenancy stays within your tenancy. So even though it drags an answer back, that answer is encrypted and your data never leaves your tenancy. So CoPilot is an acceptable way to receive information or to manage productivity within your environment. So what do I mean by productivity? Well, there are a few uses for CoPilot, and it's all about productivity. That's what CoPilot was designed for. It's not about taking the place of someone. It's about reducing the hours that someone or a user or an employee would need to do something. So CoPilot within Outlook, let me give you something very, very basic. You have a filing system within Excel, within Word, within SharePoint, within OneDrive, within Outlook, and all you have is a name. All you have is one name. So you type in CoPilot, I need all the information that you can find on John Doe. And what CoPilot will do, it will search through your Microsoft ecosystem, and it will find all the emails on John Doe, all the documents on John Doe, all the spreadsheets on John Doe, and it will present it back to you. It will present it back as a summary. From there, you can move into advanced, and it will show you all the documents that it's retrieved that information from. That's a really powerful tool. Aside from that, you can say you've had a meeting. Now, Teams natively, and your IT provider will be able to set this up for you, can transcribe conversations. You can take those conversations and summarize those conversations. So what do I need? CoPilot, what do I need to take out of this meeting? Can you summarize some minutes from this meeting? Can you summarize a to-do list from this meeting? So it depends how you want to use CoPilot. Now, there are things in preview from CoPilot. In the future, upon Microsoft releases, it will be able to create charts and presentations, again, all from the data within your Microsoft ecosystem that is secure. I would suggest that if anyone's looking to take on board CoPilot, that when you speak to your licensing provider, you say to them, I just want to test it for a few days, which you'll be allowed to do if you work with the right provider. They'll find a way around the Microsoft licensing brick wall to give you that opportunity to test out CoPilot licensing. Okay, finally, I want to talk about something called SASE. And it's probably as flamboyant as it sounds. It's a new technology. Well, I say new, it's been around for probably a year or so, but it's really making its mark now, certainly within the SMB market. And here's the reason why. There are a lot of companies that may be between 5 and 25. And they can't afford or don't want to move their budget and invest in expensive hardware and expensive IT equipment. Or indeed, they work within a serviced office, or they work within an office that doesn't allow the opportunity to secure your own IT services through a router or through a firewall. And that's where SASE comes into its own. What SASE provides is, firstly, apologies, SASE stands for Secure Access Service Edge. I know it means nothing, but I thought I'd tell you. What SASE provides is a peer-to-peer secure network on a global level. Now, it's not just a VPN. It doesn't just plug you into a VPN like Nord from a company that you don't know who that network belongs to, where it is, or how it works. What it does, it creates a virtual firewall around every single computer and device within your business, and you can control that virtual network online. But not just control it from a security perspective, you can also control USB devices. So you can also control little things that are called conditional access. So in Microsoft, you can set conditional accesses that says, if anyone plugs in a USB, they're not allowed to transfer any information. This is just one of the things that SASE can do. So aside from creating a virtual private network, you can't use USB devices, it can also control all the websites that your users can go on. It can also tell you when a user logged on, when a user logged off, that users are not allowed to send any documentation to private email addresses. It can tell you where users have logged in from. It can tell you if someone is trying to access your network, who shouldn't be accessing your network. And there are hundreds and hundreds of other things that a SASE can do. So there's no expensive hardware, no expensive firewalls. All it needs is software placed on each device, and it binds you all together and can be controlled. The good thing about SASE as well, from an administrative perspective, is that people have to use SASE. So you can hide it in the background. Now, you're not doing this to be underhand. It just means that from a compliance perspective, from a policy perspective, from a management perspective, every user within your business goes through SASE. They can't turn it off. But why would they want to? Because it improves network efficiency. It doesn't work through the old VPN where, oh, I can't get on VPN if I'm sitting within Brazil or Colombia or Ghana, because it works on and through the 5G network. And don't think mobile, please, because the 5G network backbone is completely wired, and it's wired in such a way that it's faster than any Wi-Fi VPN network that anyone could be part of. So it doesn't matter if you're sitting in an airport or you're sitting in a coffee lounge, or, which is the biggest problem, you're sitting at home and you don't know how secure your users' networks are at home. You're protected through SASE. You can control your entire business through SASE. So as I said, it's really something for the SMB sector to consider. It sits beautifully with regulation, compliance, procedure, security, and management. So 5 massive sort of ticks for you within efficiency costs, new services, new systems to the business at a fraction of the cost, because it's usually calculated on a monthly basis, simply based on the amount of users that you have. So I've tried to bring together a few sort of touch points for you and tell you what's out there, what you can look for, what can improve your business from a standpoint of technology. So as a partner, aside from setting up your business to be efficient, to work well, to have good security, you also want to start looking at, well, what can technology offer me now? How can technology help me as a company? How can technology help me as a business moving forward in a whole host of different ways, because we know that generally these things fall on your shoulders. So hopefully that's helped you. I really do hope so. We have a brief document as well that talks about some sort of little keyboard cheats. So I'm assuming we all know about pressing Control-C to copy, Control-V to paste, or if you're on a Mac, Apple C and Apple V. We put together a little brief document that we're going to be sending out probably via Hannah, that will give you a few more keyboard shortcuts. And again, I think if I could put a sort of statement above everything that I've tried to put over today, it would be productivity improvement. And again, if these little keyboard shortcuts save you a little bit of time, and some of them will actually give you an insight to things that you may not have even considered. Where a shortcut's stored, how can I create my own shortcuts? Then I'd say we've certainly done our job today. So Hannah, are you around? Because from here, what I do want to do, or what I think is good, which I hope will help you guys out, is to have a little bit of a Q&A, where if you have any questions about what we've proposed, what we've discussed, then please put them on the chat or take yourself off of mute and just ask a question. I hope that's okay.
Thank you very much, Richard. Yeah, are there any questions at all? Doesn't have to necessarily be about the things discussed. It can be anything to do with IT if you want to ask anything or get any advice. You know, I know that often in the portal there's a lot of questions about what systems are best to use, what to use to interact with certain things, AV solutions, etc. So feel free to ask anything you want to. This is a little bit of time for you guys now. If there are any. Someone's just come off mute. Was that intentional?
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah.
Just a quick question about SASE. Like, I've never heard of this one before. So it would work really well with the company that was like, what, 5 people, 15 people, like, awesome. And do you know roughly, like, cost-wise, say, let's say 15 people? Or you're on mute, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Richard, you're on mute. Lovely.
It's amazing, isn't it? Isn't it fantastic? Here's me chatting away, giving the best answer ever, and no one can hear it. So it works on volume levels. It works on dependence of the integration, but it's anything between 15 to 20 pounds per person. It's something around there. That includes everything, I believe. There's a whole host of background setup. So as I went into, you may want various conditional access, as I discussed, USBs, this, that, the other. There's no other charge. It really is just a device-led charge per user per month.
Okay, awesome. And then with that, would then the office manager, for example, be the person that can do all the admin controls? And is it super easy to put onto new starters' laptops without having like an IT team on site? Is it all quite like, is there like an admin management center, I suppose?
Okay, yes, there is an admin management center. What I would always propose is that you work with your IT provider, because your IT provider should be the one that's talking to you when you're cracking the whip. So, for example, Mr. IT provider, I had this person joining, I need this, this, and this on their computer. So, for example, they bring their own computer. We're not providing it to them. How can we secure our data on their computer when it's theirs? So there are various ways of creating a SASE for bring your own device. So it only works on partitions of that person's computer. So your IT provider should say, yeah, Tia, no issues. We're going to do this, this, and this. Does that work? So it should be more about you managing your IT provider to create everything that you need. However, you will and should have access to the admin platform so that you can manage this on your company's behalf.
Awesome. That's really, really helpful. Thank you so much, Richard.
That's my pleasure.
Lovely. Any other questions at all? Again, you can use the chat and we can anonymise it so we don't have to read out your names if there are. This is everything IT, people, so make the most of this time if you do have anything you want to check in with or ask.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Nike, go ahead.
Hi. I have a quick question. So I used to work for a company whereby we use MS Teams in the office, and the hardware we were using was called Poly. But for some reason, I think they did MS did a lot of updates with their systems last year, which for some reason wasn't communicating very well with the hardware. And I remember one of the IT person we had come in to have a look at the issue said that Poly and MS, for some reason, they don't communicate or they don't synchronize very well. Would you say that's true?
I would say, so on that, the thing with MS, Microsoft, they don't
Yes.
play with anybody. Right?
Your mic, Paolo, just so that it's a little bit louder for others. It's not great again.
Better?
Slightly better, yeah.
Okay, so the thing with Microsoft, they don't tend to communicate with anybody. They just make their update or change something at the back end, and then someone like Polycom will only find out afterwards and have to then try and repair that. So the way to get around that is to set up a Microsoft Teams room with equipment that is directly authorized by Microsoft or integrated with Microsoft. So there are a plethora of options. Polycom is a very good provider of audio-visual equipment. However, I think it's very important to see who is certified to work with Microsoft, and they tend to then be a bit more ahead of the curve. But in everyone's defense, Microsoft do have a habit of doing what they want to do and worrying about the fallout later.
Thank you.
No problem, Nico.
Good. Any other questions at all? Again, you can come off mute or you can ask in the chat. No? All done? Okay, amazing. Well, thank you so much, Paolo and Richard, for that webinar. It sounded like you were going to send a sort of shortcut sheet over. Oh, someone's come off. Rena? And there's a couple of questions coming in. Right, let's pause then. Rena, did you want to?
Oh, sorry. No, sorry.
Accident?
No, it was an accident. Sorry, guys.
Okay, we have
Thank-
got a question in the chat. Do you have any recommendations for email filing solutions, please, guys?
If I may, when you say email filing, I apologize, I'm not sure what you mean. Are you talking about taking your emails and transferring them to a storage facility where you can search your emails, or are you talking about simply indexing your emails within an email application such as Outlook?
Let's wait for the reply from. There's a question there to who's asked that back. I don't want to say your name on the webinar just in case you don't want it read out, but if you can let us know, then Richard can.
No. Hi there, sorry, I just unmuted myself.
Okay, lovely, thanks, Sala.
Apologies for the delay. I was trying to do 4 things at once. Sorry about that. Yeah, I think probably the first, where our mindset is at the moment is we don't have a solution. We're using Outlook in a manual way file. We're looking at an automated, like an additional piece of software that would automate and then store in a sensible way that can be searched and can still be used day to day. So sorry, I'm not sure technology.
Yeah. Okay. If it's a case of simply filing emails, and so there's 2 ways, I think, and I think I sort of touched upon this very briefly. You can either use the application Outlook, or you can take those off into a storage facility. Now, most people that take them off are because they want those emails to sit within project folders and other documents and other PDFs, etc. So, for example, design, build, construction companies put together folders that are based on addresses, and they want all documentation and all emails within that folder. Now, yes, that's something that can be done, but that would be through developed automation on a platform, something like a Laravel PHP development platform. So part of the business that we do is to develop those sort of automations. If you're just talking about your filing system, then Outlook will be able to search emails infinitum for the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years in the online version. So whereas you probably use Outlook application on your desktop to search, that will not provide full indexing. It will provide full indexing if you go onto the web version and create structured folders. You will be able to search based on keywords. I would also look up Boolean searching. So if you look up Boolean searching with a B for Bravo, Boolean searching, within Google, it will instruct how Microsoft's search facility within Outlook works. So you've all seen at the top, search. How do you search your emails correctly to give you the right results? It works on a Boolean string version. So you may want to search Richard and, in capitals, Baker, and it will give you every email with top hits at the top that have both those words. But that will give you a solution. As I said, if the solution is to take the email out to another folder, that's generally a development process between transferal from the Outlook application through to something like SharePoint, which can be done with some development tweaks or within the configuration path of SharePoint, but that will need someone who understands back-end Microsoft management. Paolo?
Yeah, I was just going to say, taking it a step further, I'm not sure whether you're FCA regulated or the like. There are platforms that we use and can promote and work with that will store a record of truth. So it will archive and index, X amount, 7 years worth or more of data in a single repository, so you can search across all voice and e-coms. So it won't just be emails. I don't know if you're alluding to that. This is a level up from that. And it would allow you to record WhatsApp messages, mobile recordings, of course, landline, Teams interactions, and all emails, and put into one central repository of truth. And it's for compliance as well as for FCA regulated businesses. So you're able to search across that. It's indexed fully, and they are proper solutions for keeping and interrogating, all communications. It can go as far as you want. It can include Slack, it can include LSEG, it can include Bloomberg chat. It goes as far as you want it to go, but that may be a step too far. But those solutions are out there too.
Thank you very much, both. That's really helpful. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Pleasure.
Good. I know a few people have messaged me directly just to say they had to jump off. So are there any other questions? Again, you can use the chat if there are, and we will keep the Q&A going if you wish to. Otherwise, we can finish there if there are no other questions. Anything inspired? Okay, I think that's it then. We haven't got anything else coming up, but thank you so much, Richard and Paolo, for that. If there are any other questions, of course, you can contact TWC directly. They are in the Office Management Portal, of course, so you can find them there. You can direct message them from within the portal, or if you guys just quickly pop your email addresses in for me, please, into the chat, then you can, of course, contact them directly on email or phone or anything like that. And they're there to help, of course. So hopefully that was useful for everybody, and we will see you very soon, and maybe at the conference if you're coming on Friday. Thank you, guys.
Take care. Thank you.
Just drop your contact details in before they drop in case, but there we are. Paolo's gone.
There's mine. So if anyone needs
Amazing.
me,
there we go. Rich is in the chat, everybody. Thank you very much. We'll see you
take
soon.
care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.